This is Time Capsule.
In a couple weeks, I'll be 36 years old, and I'm from North Carolina.
We're going to follow patients under the care of Wittmer Rejuvenation Clinic from the very beginning.
I just started. I've only been on it for about a month.
Their struggles.
Fatigue. I was fighting, falling asleep, couldn't focus.
Their prescriptions.
Testosterone replacement therapy.
All the way until they reach their goals.
You have more energy to be able to hang out with the kids and not always being tired. And I think in a whole, the whole quality of life will improve.
This is Time Capsule. Thank you so much for stopping by today to watch a very unique series where we're going to follow Derek's journey under the care of Wittmer Rejuvenation Clinic. Now, Derek just signed up for WRC, and this is his Time Capsule. Derek, thank you so much for spending time and hanging out with me today to help me and those that are watching get a better idea of who you are. Let's just start with the very, very basics. So first off, how old are you and where are you from?
In a couple weeks, I'll be 36 years old, and I'm from North Carolina.
Cool. So what do you do for a living?
I'm actually a supervisor for a training department. So I train people in maintenance and programming robots and PLCs and just how to do any kind of maintenance job for Toyota at the moment.
Oh, wow. So do you have people under you right now?
Right now, I have none. We're working on setting up our training department. Eventually, I'll have like 2 people under me that I manage.
Dude, good for you. That's awesome to hear. What about family life? Married, kids, that sort of thing?
Yes, I'm married. Been married for a few years now. I have 3 kids, and I got 4 dogs.
Okay, that's a lot of dogs. Please tell me, what kind of dogs do you have?
3 of them are rescues. I was always big on rescuing dogs, but the last one I actually did end up purchasing, but it was because it was a Cane Corso. I've been wanting a big dog, so I was like, I'm going to bite the bullet and go ahead and get me one.
Yeah, how much does that bad boy weigh?
He's 8 months at the moment, and he's like 100 pounds.
Amazing. So how about some hobbies? Anything outside of work, anything outside of family, and anything outside of the dogs? Is there something that you're into?
I love working out. I work out about 5 times a week. I try to manage 5, usually at least 4, but and then at least once, maybe twice a month, I try to find a new hike, go hike a few miles. I like the mountain style because it's more hill climb, more difficult, but pretty much anything outdoors, motorcycles, I love it.
Yeah, dude, me too. Anytime I can get outside and let the sun hit me, that's a huge win. But what I'm hearing is that, you got a real job, you're a real, you got a real family, you're a real person. And sometimes in reality, something hits us and something happens. Now, when that happens, most people will kind of just go the traditional route, meaning they feel sick. They call the doctor and, the doctor said, they give them a prescription or whatever it may be. Something happened. And before we go too deep into it, but something prompted you to kind of go around traditional medicine. What made you not go that route and instead explore something like telemedicine?
Actually, I did try going through my primary. I had my levels checked. And they were low for like a 55-year-old. And they said I was within normal range because the normal range is 200 to, I think, 800 or 900. So it's just, they didn't want to do nothing for me. And I've tried everything in my power to boost as much as I can, which is exercising, quit drinking, no smoking, no tobacco, no nothing. And getting good sleep. So I've tried to do all the home remedies, but nothing seemed to be helping me.
And that's really interesting that you laid that out there because, you just moved your arm and you can see you got some really big arms on you. You're a big dude. And somebody from the outside looking in might think like this guy has it all. He probably has high testosterone, high energy.
Oh, no.
That guy's not suffering from anything. But something something changed, or maybe something happened. What was the last straw that like prompted you to, think like, okay, I need to get this addressed, and I need to get on the phone or get online with Wittmer Rejuvenation Clinic and really start figuring out what's going on?
There's a couple main ones. Fatigue. I was always tired. I mean, as soon as I'd start driving, it didn't matter if I just slept 8 hours. I was damn near falling asleep behind the wheel. After work, I was falling asleep. Like, I couldn't keep energy. And then I was noticing the last couple months in the gym, I was losing strength. Like, I'd go from playing with 110-pound dumbbells, and all of a sudden I felt like I was struggling with 80s. Like, I just couldn't keep no strength or build any new strength at that. And I felt like I was losing it. I was always tired. Like, there's a few things added up, and I couldn't take it no more.
Yeah, I can understand that. And
Oh,
how,
and the weight loss was another one. Usually I was able to cut pretty easy, and past few months I can't seem to cut anything, and that was really irritating me.
yeah, and what can be really frustrating about that is, I mean, you're pushing and pulling a lot of weight in the gym, so it's not like an educational thing, right? You're not just in the gym hoping that something works. You know what works, but the thing that was previously working, it just kind of like, like it wasn't clicking the way it used to. Do you know about how long you started experiencing and noticing some of these symptoms?
I was wanting to get my levels checked. It's been like 2 or 3 years now, and I felt like I just kind of kept putting it off, and then this past 6 months, I think it was, it's just been hitting hard, and I was just, all right, time to get them checked. And finally, I was actually recommended to the Whitman, because one of my good buddies I work out with, that's who he went through, and he's like, I would check them out. He's like, they do phenomenal work. I love how they break down the test results, go through every line, tell you exactly what it means and what it tells them. And it was just a great experience.
Dude, well, that's an awesome friend. And I do want to dive into the lab work and that sort of thing. But before we get there, what did it do to you, like as far as like the fatigue and that sort of thing? Like what did it impact as far as things like work or even family life?
Oh yeah. At work, doing trainings, like I had to sit through new trainings to be able to teach new trainings, and I could not pay attention. I was fighting, falling asleep, couldn't focus. Um, Family life, it just didn't have energy to spend with the family. Like, and then even the libido was dropping. Like, I mean, it was just, like I said, it was just, everything was just going wrong.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for being open and sharing
Oh
that,
yeah.
because again, we don't talk about that sort of thing, and people on the outside looking in, again, they might just feel that somebody like you that's big and strong, that like, okay, they probably don't experience the same things I'm experiencing, and that's why this stuff is so important.
Oh yeah.
But on top of the physical stuff and the fatigue and that sort of thing, you're the man of the house. You're used to pushing 110-pound dumbbells, as your working sets, or maybe even, your warm up sets and whatnot. But that wasn't there anymore. Did that do something to you mentally?
Oh yeah. I've been, last few years, I've been trying to focus more on health and just being healthy. Like I said, I quit drinking tobacco. Some of that was really hard, but it seems like I was trying to do everything I could to be healthy, and my body wasn't wanting to respond, and I just was going mad trying to figure out what was up. And so I knew I had to at least get my levels checked, I mean, it doesn't hurt to check them. So,
And so I know in like my experience, I've had actually like a pretty difficult time getting, my labs checked with my regular, like, GP, my regular doctor. What was your experience like with trying to get your levels checked with your regular doctor?
yeah, they willing to check it easy. They they're like, sure, we'll set it up. Go get your blood work done. The only problem I knew, going into it, the chances of them actually wanting to try to help remedy it was slim to very none.
Well, that's good. But did they have somebody go through like your entire lab panel with you and explain kind of what each marker meant?
They literally only pulled my free testosterone and just testosterone levels, and sent me an email saying you're within normal range. That was it, and they wouldn't do nothing. Because I even called them up and I was like, I've done my research, like, because I hate how they got 200 to 800 as normal range. Like that could be a 20-year-old and a 80-year-old. Like there's no in between. Like, and they didn't tell me anything. They just said normal range. We ain't doing nothing for you.
Yeah, it's tough with that, like that broad range. Like everybody is within range, but I remember mine was like 225. And
I was right above that.
right, yeah, but like I felt awful.
Yeah, I feel like
right.
trash.
Yeah, dude, I felt like trash. So thankfully, we do have some a facility or a telemedicine company like Wittmer Rejuvenation Clinic, who's interested in really figuring out if you feel good.
Oh yeah.
Yes, they're going to pay attention to the numbers, but again, if you went off just this basic one size fits all scale, like it's not tailored to you specifically the way that they're going to tailor treatment, the way that they do. But moving forward, I'm excited for you in optimizing everything because of some things that like we don't really expect, which is like getting recognition from others, like whether that's at work with, accelerating or progressing in your duties and that sort of thing. Your wife noticing the physique, or just everybody just kind of noticing the energy and that sort of thing. That's what I'm excited for you, like for you to experience those things. But that's just me looking on the outside in. How about for yourself? Do you have any specific health goals in mind with all of this optimization?
Honestly, my main thing is to be able to cut weight again because I'm pushing 270. I'm wanting to cut back. I got plenty of belly fat. I say I got plenty of belly fat. Some people might think I'm not, but my main thing is to be able to cut back down and get to a healthier weight, even though I love my size, but I still got plenty of fat I got to lose. So I just want to be leaner and healthier.
Got it. I'm curious. What's Derek's ideal walk around weight?
235 to 240.
Derek, you at 230 would be very scary to see in the gym pushing over 100-pound dumbbells with your size. Man, I'm excited to see that though. How about at work? Is there something that you're hoping to accomplish, or maybe that optimizing everything might help you accomplish now that you're going to start getting rid of that brain fog, getting rid of that fatigue, and that sort of thing?
Yes. So like I said, I'm in over a training department. So there's a lot of training I've got to learn, and I want to be able to actually take the trainings and retain it. So I'm able to correlate that into my class sessions. So there's a lot more mental memory and stuff I need to use for trainings.
All right, now this might be a little bit heavy for, interview one here on Time Capsule, but I am curious to know, especially maybe if you've given some thought to this, but if you were to achieve these health goals and, again, cutting the weight and feeling better in the gym, feeling better in, the house, everywhere, what do you think it's going to do to your life? As again, I know that's kind of deep, but like looking at the grand scheme of things, what do you think this is going to do for your entire life?
I think just a better quality of life in a whole. I mean, it it can only go up from here. Like have more energy to be able to hang out with the kids and not always being tired, and actually be able to enjoy hobbies, and just like I said, losing weight to be able to move around easier, joints ain't hurting. Like I think in a whole, the whole quality of life will improve.
Very well said, bro. Now, it's been about a month since you've been working with Wittmer Rejuvenation Clinic. Can you talk to me about the experience so far working through, the telemedicine model? And then is it even possible, like if it is possible, I should say, comparing that to going with your traditional doctor and what the, again, kind of contrast of how different the experiences have been?
So the experience has been great. The way they have their system set up, it's so useful. Like getting reminders, text reminders anytime you have appointments. They handle all the shipping, all the medication. You just pay your monthly payment, and they handle everything. If you running low on supplies, you just message them, and they respond anytime. Like I'll text the number anytime, and they are always responding with me, helping out. Like I did have a issue with one of my medications that I got. I got a supply of 25 days instead of 90, and so they've quick and trying to get it squared away. So I mean, they've been really helpful, and they respond quick. Like I love it. And with my doctor, they just brushed me off. Like, we ain't. I mean, you're normal. You're fine. We ain't gonna help you.
Yeah, I don't know how they do it, but you text a number and you get a response pretty much any time of the day.
Oh yeah.
Anybody that I've spoken to that has gone through Wittmer Rejuvenation Clinic and experienced what it's like to get care, they all have the same thing to say. They're like, dude, it's insanely fast. Anytime I have a question, it gets answered right away. Or, like you said, anytime there's an issue, it gets resolved right away. And it's like, man, like, how come? Like, I mean, it's cool that we have this service now, but like the traditional way is like, you got to, make an appointment. So you got to talk to the guy, and then you got to wait,
You
and
gotta
then
wait
talk to the next
days.
guy. And then if you have something that,
Yeah.
you got to go see a specialist. So you see another guy, or, whatever. It's like, man, there's absolutely, like, there must be a better way. And, thankfully, we've definitely found that.
Oh God, yeah.
Okay. So this one's a little bit of a fun one. Now, I'm a little bit older than you. I just turned 40, and people just, they don't know what they don't know. But, people my age will think that like creatine is like juicing, right? They think you're on gear and stuff. So when it comes to something like hormone replacement therapy, testosterone replacement therapy, all this stuff in 2025, it is still taboo. Did you have any pushback from, family, friends, your wife, or anything like that when you let somebody know, like, hey, I'm going to go through with this hormone replacement therapy? Did you get any pushback?
No, I'm not too open with it. I've told a few people. Of course, my buddies at the gym, a lot of them are on actual gear and stuff, but most of them are actually on just TRT, and I didn't know that. But with the wife, I talked to her about it it was a couple weeks. I was talking to her about wanting to try to get subscribed to TRT just to help my levels. And at first, she was like, okay. She didn't really know what it was. And then our kid he works out with us and stuff, and he was just playing around. He was like, oh, you gonna get on all that gear? And so she was like, oh, wait, is it just steroids? I was like, no, it's not steroids. So I had to like break it down and try to explain as best I could, and that is just testosterone replacement therapy. It's not tren or D-ball or anything crazy. Like it's just testosterone. It's a natural hormone. Like, and WRC, they don't want pushing no high numbers, which I was one of the facilities around here. They put everybody on the same levels and pushing 2,000 or whatever. I was like, I didn't want that. I didn't want to deal with that. I didn't want to have to sit there and try to figure out anything on my own. So I'm glad I was able to get with Wittmer. They're really helping me out.
That's extremely mature of you. And I say that because I know I had to wrestle with the idea of, like, no, I'm on stuff, so I want my numbers to be through the roof. Like, I want everything to be all, extremely high on the, the scale or whatever.
Yeah.
But for yourself, you didn't want those super physiological levels. You wanted to keep everything within range. Where did that mindset come from, and how did you kind of, I guess, shut down that voice that some people get in the back of their head that's saying, no, do more, do more, do more. You wanted to keep things at a healthy level.
All right. So for me, it was super easy. I've always been keen on staying fully natural. Like, I've never wanted to get on gear. I've always had a little bit of anger issues, so I was always paranoid that I'll just hulk out, or I just I was always nervous about it. Like I said, I want to be as healthy as possible, so I've done plenty of research. And yeah, you can do gear and be on the healthy side, but I always wanted to stay away from it. So honestly, it was hard for me to want to even try to TRT in the first place because I was always against any kind of help. I always wanted to stay natural. So it actually took a lot for me to even want to try TRT in the first place. So for me, it wasn't that hard to be responsible. If I was going to do it, it was going to be through a legit clinic that runs my blood work, checks everything, and helps me keep it leveled out.
Got it. Now, there are some people out there that will look at something as doctor prescribed TRT as still like, oh, you're still cheating, you're on gear, or you're shortcutting or whatever it may be.
Oh, yeah.
But was there something that maybe you researched or that you learned that kind of like was the for lack of better terms, the thing that moved the needle, that made you look at it a little bit differently and realize like, okay, like, yeah, I wanted to stay natty my whole life, but now that I'm feeling this way, now let's explore this. And then you learn something. You're like, oh, this is actually maybe not as bad as I thought it was.
Like I said, I was doing all the like I'm real big on research, so I'm not just going to jump into anything. Um, all the research I've done, it was showing uh, you stay within normal range and you get your energy levels back. Your brain fog goes away. It helps with your libido, ED if you're having issues with that. Your muscle mass. I felt like it was a cheat code at first, and then the more I looked into it, it's not like you can just hop on TRT and all of a sudden turn into the Hulk. Like, you still have to. It's still the grind of putting in all the work. I mean, it's just keeping you in normal range.
Yeah, I kind of wish that was the case, but unfortunately, you still got to do all the work, and you still, you're mentioning that you have some weight that you hope to lose. Like the vial's not going to do it for you. I can't remember who it was that said it, but in regards to that, they were like, okay, load up a deadlift bar and then roll the vial of testosterone under that bar and see if the bar lifts itself. Like, it's not going to happen. You still have to put in the work. But you're doing that. You're making the right steps. And then you're also, you're optimizing with Wittmer Rejuvenation Clinic. So you're doing everything right. And Derek, I'm rooting for you. We are all rooting for you. And I just want to say thank you again for your time today. And I want to thank you, the viewer, for taking time to check out today's conversation. But remember, this is just the beginning. We're going to be checking back in with Derek in a couple of months to track his progress, to see, where things are going, maybe check in on some of that weight loss, but get some real life feedback. So that way you can see what it's like, what life is like with care with Wittmer Rejuvenation Clinic. So you don't want to miss that. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, click that bell notification so you don't miss any of these updates. And I just want to thank you again for checking out today's conversation, and we'll catch you on the next one. Peace.